This is Borderlands 4 and today we'll be showing you how we got all 35 trophies and obtained the shiny platinum. To do this we need to complete the story, finish all 98 side quests, beat all 53 activities, complete 80 contracts, unlock Ultimate Vault Hunter level 5, reach level 50 with all 4 characters, complete 3 primordial vaults and attend 3 world events. Borderlands 4 is the highly anticipated follow-up to Borderlands 3 and is the 5th mainline entry in the series. The game was released on the 25th September 2025 to mostly positive reviews, even despite some invisible walls and some bugs. According to powerpicks.com, the platinum should take anywhere from 100 to 150 hours to achieve and is a difficulty of about 5 out of 10. As always, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. We beat Idolator Soul and we got our first trophy.
Trophy!
The trophy that we just got there was called False Idolator, and that's for beating Idolator Soul. He's the first story boss of the first main area and is fairly straightforward. I'm not going to show the boss or the fight with the boss just so it doesn't spoil the story for those of you that are interested. The next trophy that we got is called If Moved by an Occult Hand, and that's for beating the story boss for the Terminus Range area. The story is pretty straightforward in that there's 4 areas, there's 4 bosses, and you have to beat 3 of them to get to the main one. The story on Borderlands 4 really is nothing special. It's been praised for being better than Borderlands 3's story, but that bar's pretty low. I do however like the animation in this game, and I think that's pretty cool. That's something that is definitely better than its predecessors. Next up is another story trophy. This one's called Long Live the Queen, and that's for beating the story boss in the Cascadia Burn area. Finally we beat the Ripper Queen for good and hit the next cutscene. Lilith makes a return and we eventually rescue her from the weird portal world that she's been stuck in, and once we've rescued her, stood on the edge of a cliff and look at burning ruins, we unlock the Howling at the Moon trophy. So after Howling at the Moon there is one story related trophy left, and that's called Everything Breaks, and for this you have to fight the Timekeeper. That means you have to be in the Dominion area, which is the central hub of the big map. You have to do a couple of missions in there. Once you've done that you go into his palace and you've got to go through scores of enemies that are about 2 levels higher than whatever your character's level is. I think I did that about level 35, maybe 40. Anyway, after you beat him you get this long old cutscene where he takes an eternity to die. So he just kind of lays on the floor. I'd say he's bleeding out, but there's clearly no blood.
One eternity later.
Finally he gives up the ghost, rolls over, and we walk away with his precious triangle thing. After watching the credits, we finally get the trophy pop for Everything Breaks.
What a long old cutscene this one, isn't it? Yeah, keep going.
The next few trophies aren't trophies that are associated with the story, they're just trophies that we got along the way. For reaching level 10 we got the trophy Crimson Rising. You get this just by playing the game. We got the next trophy Pop Out, where we came across a world boss. Now you can see a world boss on the map, it's in the centre of the screen there, it's got the exclamation mark. And when you're in the open world it'll look like a big dome, as you can see here. We're going to run towards it. Once you enter the dome you can't back out, you have to fight the boss. If you do back out of the dome it will end the boss fight. But these are worth doing as they do give you legendary drops and things. Anyway, as you can see I shot this guy in the face with the shotgun for the trophy Pop Out. We also got Good Hunter along the way. To do this you just have to reach level 30. If you're doing side quests and the story you'll hit this no problem. And that about wraps it up for the story part, so we're going to move on to step 2, which is to do the primordial vaults. So I'd recommend waiting until you finish the story to do the primordial vaults, as these can be a bit tricky. There are 3 across the region. There's one in Terminus Range, there's one in Cascadia Burn, and there's one in the Clayfields. Now once you get into the vault it is a big sort of battle arena. You have to survive different waves. I think there's about 4 or 5 different waves. But anyway, you go in and you really do get attacked, which is why I'd recommend doing this after you finish the story, so you should have your hands on a couple of legendary weapons and these will really help you out. Now once you're close to a vault it will have a big circle around and you've got to find where the vault is. So here we are in Fadefields and we're looking for the vault location. There is a little detector on the top right of your screen and it's kind of like a hot or cold detector, so if you're getting closer to the vault it will go up, and if you're getting further away it will go down. Once you have uncovered the vault, you go up to the platform that comes up out the ground. Your echo unit will assemble the parts, plug it in, and that will awaken the vault. Now, I did originally do this with my co-op partner, and we had a little bit of a problem with the trophy tracker. It seems when he was in my game it wasn't counting all the vaults he was doing, so we stuck him 2 out of 3 for a while. But when we encountered this problem, we went into his game, we beat the vault maybe 2 or 3 more times, and then it did eventually pop. Now, I'm not going to show you the footage or the battles themselves, it's just waves of enemies, but then once you get to the end you do fight a boss in each one of the 3 vaults, and once you've beaten the 3rd and final vault you'll get your trophy for nothing left to guard. Step 3 is where you're going to spend the majority of your time when you're going for the Platinum Trophy on Borderlands, and we start off with a nice easy miscellaneous trophy here. So you need to shoot these barrels in a certain order, so you need to do far left, far right, then left, then right, and then the one in the middle, and once you do that you'll get the trophy. Cut that out. So next up are 2 missable trophies. The first one we're going to go for is called Rift Incompatible, and that's to find Oddman's final resting place. So as you're driving around, eventually you will see a person fall out the sky, as you saw there, that hid behind the tank, and when you go up to him and click on him you get the mission Exit Through the Rift Shop. So for this one you have to head to the mission that's there. This will open the silo and you'll be able to go in and find Oddman in all of his glory. Oddman is an expert in sending you on a merry goose chase, and that's exactly what he does. So he sends you over to a location in the Fade Fields where you have to find some containers and you have to break them open. Now you can't shoot these, you do have to punch them. Here on the map it just shows you where you need to go. And as you can see, there's the container with the blue light on it. Jump up, smack that, and it'll give you a battery of sorts. So that's the first one. If you run then over here, you'll see the other blue diamond. You're going to smack the container. Bosh, gives the battery. That's number 2. And the third one's a little bit hidden away. It's underneath these stairs, just over here. So same again, smack the container, and it'll give you the 3rd battery. So we head back over to Riftman, and he has fired up the portal, but he needs you to put the batteries in, so nice and easy. Put in 1, 2, and number 3. After a bit more yapping, he does eventually turn on the teleporter. Once he does, you've got to hook your shot way through it, and that'll take you into a surprise ambush. Now if you're a fan of the Borderlands series, this will not be a surprise at all, as this I think is always happening more or less. But feel free to kill the enemies. Shout out to the Rainbow Vomit there, great shotgun. After having looked through some ammo and looking at a dancing gun, we then see that we have to push the button that is over here to release the prisoners. Once we do that, we have to have a bit of a chat with them. They'll tell you there's a secret cupboard. You have to unhook the latch here on this vent, travel down the vent, and you've got to find some iridium that's in some lockers, throw it into the teleporter to disrupt it. Shoot the locks off the lockers and pick up the iridium. There's the locks being shot there again with the beautiful Rainbow Vomit. And once you do, you'll be able to pick up the iridium, which is in this locker here. Pick it up, chuck it up the way that you came, hook shot up. And what you want to do is you want to run all the way back to where you came from, and you want to throw the iridium into the rift. So as you can see here, we're just figuring out where to go. There's the portal, throw it in, and then once you travel back through that, there'll be a couple of enemies for you to kill. You can then run up to Oddman and confront him about what he's done and sending you to your death. Now this is the part where you come to a bit of a fork in the road. You can either shoot him, which will kill him, or you can punch him, which will ultimately kill him. You need to punch him. So make sure that you do that and do not shoot him. He'll fall through the portal either way. There he goes. And our next job is to track him down. So this is where you need to go on the map. You can see it there. It's just sort of in the north-east side of the Terminus range region. So venture over there, have a look around. There is a deadbolt near it, but just keep having a look. Eventually he'll come to a site where he is frozen and you get the trophy. Not too difficult, just follow the steps here and the rift incompatible trophy will be yours. The next trophy that we're going for is the trophy called All Things Vend. This is another missable trophy. To start this, you want to go to Cascadia Burn, and once you're there you want to be looking for the drone in front of the vending machine. After you interact with the drone, you'll notice on the back of the vending machine that there are some symbols. The symbols are important as they'll tell you what you need to do. The colours of the symbol relate to the rarity of the gun, and if there's a cross through it, it means that you need to sell that colour. Don't worry too much if you don't have the right rarity, as there is a vending machine nearby where you can go and purchase. Say if you're missing a green gun, you can buy a green gun. Once you complete the symbols, the screen of the vending machine will break, like so. There are 3 other vending machines dotted around the map. I'm not going to go into each one of them, they are pretty much the same thing. There's one where you need to buy weapons, so just sell that rarity weapon to the machine and then buy it back, and that counts. And then eventually when you do, you'll come to this area here. Once here, clear out the enemies, turn on the power, and it will tell you to follow the telegraph wire down to a secret area. There's a little bit of dialogue before you can head into the cave, but once you can, run all the way through until you come to the legendary vending machine. Once you're there, there'll be a little bit of dialogue which you'll have to sit through, and once that's finished, the vending machine will come to life and try attacking you. The answer to this boss is the same as it is with every other boss, and that's just shoot them a lot. Once you've done that, he'll malfunction and he'll stop. At this point you need to check the sign on the floor from where he was standing, and this is just the same as all the other vending machines. The cool part about this is that you do get you get a legendary for $1, or a Borderlands dollar, which is pretty good. Sell him the 3 green, buy a orange, at which point the screen will break and he'll drop a picture. We need to pick up the picture and we need to take it to Zane, who's hanging out in Moxie's bar. Once here, hand the picture to Zane, who'll have a go at you for not picking a weapon. He'll then reflect on his relationship with Levine, at which point the drone will come back and start talking to you. Once the drone finishes its speech, you'll come to the end of the All Things Vend mission, at which point the trophy will pop like so. And that's the second missable, so we don't have to worry about any more missable trophies. The lookbook is the cookbook is next. This one's nice and easy. This is just unlocking 60 cosmetics across the course of the game. You can get these through beating certain challenges, you can get rewards in your inventory by beating certain side quests or by hunting bounties. Either way, you'll get this just as you play through the game. We then head to Moxie's bar next and we tip her to unlock the Glucose Guardian trophy. It's worth noting this is worth doing, as she can give you legendary weapons if you tip her enough. Claptrap also returns in Borderlands 4 and he gives us 5 missions throughout the game. I've put the missions up on the screen so that you can see which ones you have or which ones you've still got to do. We have to beat all 5 of these missions, and then once we do, we get the trophy Widely Beloved Mascot. None of the missions are terribly difficult and they're scattered all throughout Kairos, so just keep playing the game and as you're beating all the missions you will come across these. For the trophy Pale Blueberry Dot, you have to complete all the Outbounder missions, very similar to the Claptrap missions except there's just 3 of these. These are all in the Faith Hills region, but once you do it you get given the trophy. Just like Fairfields, Cascadia Burn has its own side missions. This one's called Mole Money Mole Problems, and that's for completing all of the Electi missions. Just like the Outbounder missions, these are quite straightforward and they're all to do with the Electi Council, so you'll know that you're doing the right set of missions. It's pretty easy. We then got Who's the Boss for completing all the Augur missions. The Augur missions are the faction questline in the Terminus Range region, and it consists of 4 side missions which are up here now. Complete all of these and whilst they're talking the trophy will pop like so. Unfortunately we do have a little bit of a bug here. We completed the Creep Impact World event, but the trophy didn't pop at the time. So I was just running around randomly killing rift bosses when I got the Shoot the Moon trophy. I think a part of the problem, or at least the problem for me, was that I was playing co-op and so I was doing stuff on my game and doing stuff on my friend's game, and that did seem to have a bit of an adverse effect on both his trophies popping and my trophies popping. Funnily enough, we had the same thing happen with Arena Guard, where I actually found the arena, went back to get my friends so that we could go and do it, and whilst I did, I managed to pop the trophy. As you can hear in the in-game audio, it was my surprise. The funny thing with this one is I didn't actually enter the event. I saw it was active, came away from it, and it still gave it to me, so God knows what happened here.
Trophy? Did you get a trophy?
What you are meant to do is that you see that these random events pop up. There's 3. There's one in Cascadia Burn, one in Terminus Reach, one in Fade Fields. They pop up and you're meant to attend them, and then you've got like a death match. It's like a wave survival thing again, and you go through them and you earn rewards based on how well you do. I think with these ones it just takes a little bit of time to pop. As you can see here, we're collecting the weapons from when we did the wave-based survival, and then the trophy does eventually pop in the top row. Our next trophy is for finding 15 hidden burritos in the Dominion region. It can be quite hard to find as they are quite small and they're scattered all throughout the region. So it's worth pulling up a guide and having a look at where these are. I won't go into it here because the video is really long enough. But once you've found all 15, this hidden area will open up in the Upper Dominion area. Travel through it. This gives us the Guac as extra trophy. Next up is the trophy I earned list. That's for equipping legendary gear in every slot. As you can see from my inventory, there's no shortage of legendary weapons. These get dropped quite often, whether it's through bosses, whether it's through rewards for rift events or contracts or side missions. There's no shortage, so once you've got enough for each slot, equip them all and that'll give you the trophy. Next up is Ruler of Everything. This is for completing all the activities around the map. There are 53 activities split across the 4 districts. To find them, you need to unfog the map as they're marked as a question mark, and when you go closer, they'll show you what they are. Here I am completing my final activity, which was a crawler mission, and that pops the Ruler of Everything trophy. Next up, we completed all 98 side missions. That gave us the Grassroots Campaigner trophy. This was a grind. Some of the side quests enhanced the story, some of them are hidden, some of them were unnecessary. The idea of them being side quests I thought was a little bit much, but needless to say there are 98, you do get your money's worth, and there we go. That finishes step 3, so we can now move on to step 4. You unlock these next few trophies just by exploring the world of Kairos. The map is pretty big, the world is expansive, and the lack of loading screens is great. The first trophy that we unlocked in this segment was called Unfaded, and that's for exploring all of the fade fields. You will unfade a portion of the map by doing the missions and doing the side missions, but the best way is just to drive around, aim at the question marks, and that'll unfog the map for you. The next one that we got is in the Terminus Reach area. This was the last cave that we needed to find the trophy. Slid down the hill, continue towards the question mark, and we eventually pop the Mountain Provides. We then jumped into a mine, which was our final trophy for the Cascadia Burn region, and that gave us Churn the Burn. We also got the trophy Master of Dance and Death, and this is just for reaching level 50 with your first character. Nice and easy when you're getting experience for doing all the side quests, all the locations, all the activities, and it'll pop simply by playing the game. This does however become a bit of a grind when you're going for the final trophy, which is collecting all of the personal vehicles, but we'll get into that later. We're off to Dominion City next, and we discover our last location, and that gives us the trophy Useful Citizen. Step 5 is contracts. Contracts are a new feature in Borderlands 4, and you can find these on notice boards in the safe houses. Once you click on the contract that you want, it will add it to your map and you'll be able to find them like so. I'd only recommend going for the bounty or the patrol missions, as they're the easier ones to do and they're quicker. The reason that I've left this step until after the story is that once you've beaten the story, you have access to Ultimate Vault Hunter 1, and then once you activate that, you can actually get Vile bounties, and they've got a chance of giving you rarer weapons and more experience. Obviously, as they give you more experience, the Vile bounties are harder to kill. They're Vile enemies, so you have to destroy their crystals. But once you do, you go into your inventory, have a look at your rewards, and if it's blue and yellow as above, then you've got a chance of pulling a legendary weapon. And once you've done this 80 times, you'll get the trophy Freelance, but not for free. For our next trophy we need to talk to Lilith after we've completed a certain number of challenges. As you can see at this point in time I've done a few but not enough to trigger the mission. Once you've beaten things like bosses on Ultimate Vault Hunter 1 you'll be able to do a story recap mission and that will eventually upgrade your Ultimate Vault Hunter rank. Rinse and repeat this over and over again. The step 4 or level 4 requires you to do the primordial vaults again. Once you've beaten those you'll trigger the cutscene, which as you can see above, let that play out and then eventually you'll get the hardest trophy in the game, which is Gear 5. On this next step there's certain challenges that you have to do both for weapon and your manufacturer. I chose Assault Rifle because I was part way through that and there's only 6 that you have to do. I was finishing this off while my son decided to tell me what game this reminds him of.
Oh my god.
This level is like Donkey Kong.
It's not like Donkey Kong!
Yes, it is like Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong hijinks aside, we unlock the trophy Area of Expertise. For the next trophy I used the Cooking Ambushing Borstal Blister. The reason that I picked this one is it's a good legendary weapon, it kicks like a horse and it's got an underbarrel attachment of a shotgun. Getting the underbarrel kills as well as the knife critical hits is probably the hardest part of this challenge. After running around and throwing knives at practically everything, we got to our last one here. We decided to hunt the Wildhorn. When he charged at us we threw the knife and that gave us the trophy. The final step is personal vehicles, and this is a grind. 6 of them can be unlocked just by playing through the story and doing all the side quests, but 4 of them are unlocked by hitting level 50 with each character. The technique that I used to quickly level up my characters was that I went to the makeshift chalet, I picked the vile bounties, and then I went and killed them, and that gave me the most experience. This took a while, and there are other techniques you can use by going to, say, a drill site, another friend of yours goes to another one, you do it that way. I didn't actually find that to be any different, so I did this so I could gather legendary weapons as well. And after 123 hours I finally unlocked the final trophy, which was Catch a Ride, and this also gave us the platinum. So, was it worth it? The game is a lot of fun, however there's a lot of collectibles, there's a lot of grinding that you have to do in order to get the platinum, and the game is still £65 or $70 if you're buying it on the PlayStation Store. My conclusion is if you're a long time fan of the series that you should play this, you should complete it and you should go for the platinum. If you're just a casual gamer, maybe wait until the price drops before you invest in this one. If you're still here, thank you for watching, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.